I wanted to give my 2 cents with respect to what transpired with the bail amendment bill in the Senate. In particular, every week that I come here, you know, without let up, the UNC gives cause for me to say, if hypocrisy was a party, it would be the UNC. And it seems Jayanti Lakshmidiyal, Senator, UNC Senator Jayanti Lakshmidiyal is striving very hard for the post or the title of poster girl for hypocrisy, right? I listened to her contribution because a lot of people would have contacted me and said, are you listening to the Senate? What happened with the bail amendment bill and so on? And I didn't, and I said, okay, I will take a look at it. And the contribution from Senator Jayanti Lakshmidiyal, right? As for the reason, one of the main reasons why the UNC decided not to support the bail amendment bill. Theirs are the loudest voices with respect to the state of crime in the country. And the government don't know what they're doing. And this incompetent and wicked and evil Keith Rowley administration don't know what they're doing. And crime is out of hand. And it's only when the PNM in power, crime is out of hand. But when other parties, when the UNC in power, crime comes down. Dishonesty. You see, because when they were in power from 2010 to 2015, every month we get in statistics, or every 2 weeks we get in statistics about serious crime. So they weren't categorizing murder by itself. Murder fell under serious crime. So we were getting, yes, you see, let us present you with the statistics for serious crime. What is serious crime? So they're talking about rape. They're talking about anything that involved violence and so on. So they come in to tell us every week, well, you see, the number of rapes are down, and the number of kidnappings are down, and the number of woundings are down. Yes, the murder rate is up a little bit, but look at all the other crimes that are taking place, and they are down. So they were trying to cover, to hide the increase in murder with the other crimes that were going down. And of course, the members of the literati was happy with that. So whenever they want to talk about the state of crime under them, that's all we hear, that we brought down serious crime in this country to levels unprecedented. So Miss Lakshmidiyal, well, I'm assuming it's Miss, I don't know if she has a Mr., so I'm going with Miss. One of the main reasons that she advanced for them not supporting the bail amendment bill was the state, well, 2 things. One, the issue of the presumption of innocence, natural justice, due process. Laughable. And the second thing she spoke about, when she spent close to almost 15 minutes yapping about, was the state of the prisons in this country and the state of the remand yard, where 60% of the persons who are incarcerated in this country are currently reside in remand. And she would have bemoaned the conditions in the remand prison. The state, and I'll play it for you just now to hear a little bit of it. But let me deal with the first aspect with respect to the issue of the presumption of innocence and natural justice, right? Listen to Jayanti. Let me get this here.
Attempt to remove the judicial discretion to grant bail and to automatically deny bail to persons who have never been convicted of an offense makes a mockery of the presumption of innocence. And the presumption of innocence is a cornerstone in the foundation of our criminal justice system. If we lose the presumption of innocence, Madam President, we might as well just take our entire constitution and throw it in the dustbin. It is disrespectful to the constitution of this country for us to pass a law that makes such a mockery out of the presumption of innocence. It makes a mockery of our democracy to say that on the mere say-so of a police officer who says to the that a firearm was involved in a matter, in an alleged crime, allegedly committed by someone before the court, that they must be denied bail. That is basically saying that we have no belief, none whatsoever, in our judiciary. It is saying that we have no respect for the rule of law. It is saying that we have no respect for the rights of persons to make a case before a judicial officer. And I don't know about anybody else, but I am not prepared to stand here and say those things, and the opposition is not prepared. In 2019, they lobbied very hard against the opposition. And the government has a tendency, every time there is a spate of crime, to blame it on the opposition's lack of support for legislation. So in 2019, we gave it to them. We gave them the opportunity, and they have absolutely nothing to show for it today. Not one single accomplishment. When we are getting back into the process of weighing the proportionality of these measures, Madam President, it is quite simply inescapable for us. You cannot avoid asking yourself what else could be done. What else could be done, and what other options are available other than taking away people's rights or deferring them, as I heard one member opposite say, because apparently that seems more acceptable. That I could take away your rights today for 3 months and that's okay, but I'm not taking it away, just for 3 months. I want to know if it is that you could say to somebody, well, I will take away your property for 3 months.
Senator Naked, you made a comment earlier, I ignored it. Please stop it, all right?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. If you are taking away someone's property today, can you tell them, oh, don't worry, I will just take it for 3 months and that's okay? But you are taking away someone's liberty for 3 months. And when you are looking at the proportionality of that measure, apart from its success for the last 3 years, we have to consider the condition.
So, before I continue, right, that's Jayanti, Senator, UNC Senator Jayanti Lakshmi, talking there about the presumption of innocence. And if it is that we do away with the presumption of innocence, that it makes a mockery of our democracy and so on. This is not the same clown who just in the last month was prosecuting Foster Cummins in the court of public opinion. Where was the presumption of innocence then? Every Monday night, she on a platform bringing document to say Foster Cummins do this and Foster Cummins do that, right? And making allegations, and then the members of the literati, based on what she said and the presentations that she made and the document she held up, calling for Foster Cummins to resign or be fired. Based on what? Allegations, right? So she produces a document to tell us that Foster Cummins is the subject of a police investigation. Police investigation ongoing. But they find, throws the presumption of innocence out the window, and they find Foster Cummins guilty in the House of the Literati, right? But today, you're listening to her now. Oh, she's the staunchest defender of due process and the presumption of innocence. So when the police investigation into Foster Cummins finish, and if it is found that there is no malfeasance, and you call on Dr. Rowley to fire him or he resigns, what you're going to do is say, well, okay, well, all right, we make a mistake, so yeah, you can put him back in the cabinet. And hypocrisy, poster girl. But you see, yesterday was yesterday and today is today, as Jack used to tell us. All the time. Yeah, Foster do this and Foster do that. They're going all the way back to 2007 to tell you about Foster plagiarized and all kind of thing, and he shouldn't be in the government. Presumption of innocence, but today hear her. And so a man who has been accused of a crime, the police conduct a full investigation, complete the investigation, gather evidence and charge the man. And the crime that he's alleged to have committed is one that doesn't carry bail. Ever Jayanti telling you, based on the presumption of innocence, he should be allowed to get bail. Yes, and he should be allowed to continue to live his life as normal. That's all right, because in the eyes of the court, he is innocent until before a jury of his peers he is found guilty. He is innocent and should be allowed to enjoy his life in the same way before he was charged. But not so for Foster Cummins. No, no, no. Police investigation still ongoing. No conclusion to that. No evidence that supports a case that the man committed any crime, but he should be fired or he should resign and get rid of him. Yeah? So apparently, the due process and the presumption of innocence is only good for certain people, hardened criminals. Because when I listened to the clip after this well, not after this, but the Attorney General in his winding up, I heard him talk about what the government is seeking to do is to extend a law that would, what's the word I'm looking for? That would deny bail to persons who would have been charged and convicted of a crime or similar crime before. So, contrary to what Ms. Lakshmi is telling us here about a person who is innocent and never get charged with a crime and so on, the Attorney General is making the point, 2 strikes. So you were accused of this crime before, you were charged with it, convicted, and then you come and you commit the crime again. But later on, I don't know if I'll have time to play this clip, where she talks about, you know, there was this guy that she was representing, and the man had committed a crime before, and then he went and committed a similar crime again, and she asked him why it is you do it, why, and he telling her, well, you know, things was hard, and he lost his job, and the wife leave him, and all kind of thing and whatnot. So she's making excuses now for committing crime, it seems. Yeah, and therefore on that basis. But let us not forget, the same people, that the party that she represents, the UNC, that want to be more in the state of crime in this country today. And I was reading a few posts on Facebook this morning. When you read the comments of the literati, let us not forget that it is the same Senator Jayanti Lakshmidiyal and her colleague Anna Ramlogan, who is before the courts for crime. They are the two that went to petition the court to make murder a bailable offense. And they were successful in that. And so that today we have persons who are accused of murder who, before they went to petition, the court would have remained behind bars until such time as their case was tried and there was an outcome. After they walking the streets, free to commit crime again, assuming on the assumption that they were guilty, right? But we know, normally when these guys are held and charged for these crimes, and murder is a serious crime, usually when here, they were known to the police. This is not the first run-in, the second or the third run-in with the police. They have a record. But Jayanti want to tell you, well, you know, let us leave it in the hands of the judicial officers to decide whether or not they are going to grant bail. It is not that we are saying that a person will automatically get bail, but we will have the evidence presented to the judicial officers and a case made out as to whether or not they should get bail. When it is that a person is charged and subsequently incarcerated, pending trial, as far as I know, the police will do the investigation, they will present a file, and they will go to the DPP. So it's not that the police say, hey, you're guilty. Come here. Go in the courthouse. The police, because it is the DPP's office that is responsible for prosecution. So when the police do their investigations and they present the file to the DPP and the file is reviewed, if the DPP is of the unflinching view that based on the evidence gathered here, that a prima facie case can be made out against this individual, and my department, the DPP's department, is of the view that we could bring a successful case against this person, then the DPP will give instructions to charge. If the DPP reviews the file and he finds the evidence is at best circumstantial and weak, and his department cannot mount a successful prosecution against this individual, as we know, they would give the file back to the police and say, go back and do some more investigations and come again. Wheel and come again. You see what I have here for me? That ain't strong enough. So that to listen to Senator Jayanti Lakshmidiyal talking this nonsense here, right? As if it's just a case of, so you find him, all right, you bring a gun charge against the man, okay, and no bail, automatically denied. You charge him, and as the case may be. But the members of the literati are not really interested in how the system works, right? They're not interested in that. Let me see if I find the other part that I wanted to play for you all. Where is it? I'll find it here. Right. Let's see if I get
persons, when they are charged, is a solution to crime. I cannot understand how a government faced right now with an education crisis, where children are simply without opportunities in this country, could think that restricting bail and throwing them in a prison where we just don't have to deal with them. Like I say, it is out of sight, out of mind. It is the equivalent to, I don't know if you recall when we were having, I don't know if it was the Summit of the Americas or CHOGM, that they built a wall.
Senator Lakshmidiyal, just 1 second. I think it's going a little wide. Senator Lakshmidiyal, continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, you see, going wide and dealing with the government's failure on crime is essential, because it is the government's failure on crime and the failure to deliver on every single promise that they have made in the economy, education, crime, everything else. That is why we have an out-of-crime situation that they are attempting to remedy by throwing people into remand yard. And yes, as I was saying, it is the equivalent of when they built a wall along the highway when President Obama was visiting. It's like you could just block it out. We don't have to look at it. That is the equivalent of what they are trying to do now. They are trying to block out, and we don't have to deal with these prisoners because, listen, the law is there to throw them into remand yard. And that is the solution that they want to come with here today and tell us that that is the solution to crime. Madam President, when you look at proportionality, And very quickly, I just want to deal with this. If you have to deal with proportionality, could you just let me know how much more time I have?
You have 7 more minutes.
Thank you, Madam President. That is enough for me to go through some of the judgments, none of them under appeal, because I know that if I say anything about judgments which are under appeal, they will jump up erroneously on the sub judice rule. But I will deal with judgments that have dealt with prison conditions in this country, Madam President, because it is absolutely necessary when weighing the proportionality of a bill that will put someone who has the presumption of innocence into remand to understand what that means for an individual, what they are going to be subjected to for the 120 days at the behest of this government. I refer to the case of Colin Edgehill and the Attorney General in 2008, Madam President, where the Honorable Justice Gobin quoted extensively from other pieces of from studies and so on in the prison, and the Honorable Judge stated, and I quote, "The remand yard, Port of Spain, is a hellhole in which a man presumed innocent is deprived of the elements necessary for human life: air, light, sanitation, hygiene, exercise, and even food. The level of pain and suffering inflicted during detention goes beyond the harsh, or what is, to my mind, can conveniently be described as mere unacceptable and unsatisfactory. The treatment makes a mockery of the presumption of innocence." Madam President, the government are asking us today to pass a law where an innocent person could be subjected to those conditions. In the Privy Council judgment of Terence Calix versus the Attorney General, Madam President, they describe the prison conditions at the Golden Grove prison. And they talk about the Inter-American Court of Human Rights report into detention.
Senator Lakshmi-Dayal, you have 5 more minutes.
Madam President, cells of dimensions of approximately 9 feet by 6 feet are shared by up to 7 or 8 prisoners. Sleeping facilities are inadequate with only 1 double bunk in each cell. Consequently, many inmates are forced to sleep on the floor on a thin piece of worn carpet which is never cleaned, or on a thin sheet if provided by relatives. Cells are poorly ventilated, are hot and uncomfortable. Lights may be kept on all night. A single plastic pail. I don't know if everybody here has ever understood the concept of a slop pail, but that is what you have in remand yard. A single plastic pail is provided for use as a toilet by all the detainees in the cell. Madam President, the government is here today to tell us that any person on the mere say-so of a police officer, a person who never has the opportunity to mount a defense to an accusation against him, a person never convicted of an offense but accused on 2 occasions of a crime by the police, who have absolutely never presented any evidence before a judicial officer, will be subjected to those conditions for 120 days. And that is what this government thinks is the solution to crime. That is a solution to psychologically create a criminal. That, what the government is proposing here, is what will force people to come out of there in 120 days and be angry at the world. Madam President, I have spoken in this parliament before when I was a prosecutor of making several applications for someone to be denied bail for a sexual offense, on the ground that they were, because they had the age of the victim and so on. And do you know that after some 7 years of that person being in prison, the victim admitted to lying? The victim was trying to hide a relationship with someone else by whom she had become pregnant, and pinned it on someone who had given her a drop home. On those simple accusations. And you know why I call them simple accusations? Because the criminal justice system and prosecutions in Trinidad and Tobago are still reliant on the say-so of witnesses who are inherently, in some cases, unreliable. Human beings are not scientific evidence. So when a person spends 120 days or up to a year in prison, by the time their case comes before a jury, in 5 years or 10 years, witnesses could recant. And the witness could say, look, I lied. And what happens then? You have taken away a person's life. The matter that nobody wants to talk about, where the Bail Act was found to be in violation of separation of powers. A man was deprived of his life.
A man was deprived of his life. And, Janty? So there she made a very sterling case for someone being accused of a crime, and therefore in the interest of natural justice and due process, they should be granted bail. Notwithstanding the fact that they may very well be guilty. But in this case, she's saying, suppose the person is innocent, right? Their life shouldn't be taken away. So what happens in the case where the individual is guilty? And the life that they took away, Janti, you know, hypocrisy, again, poster girl. Couple months ago, there was a murder that took place next door to Jayanti, where she lived in. I think it was I don't know if it was a school teacher or something. The woman was leaving her home one morning in her station wagon. And some guy walked up to her and shot her, right? She died. Mother, wife, as the case may be. Jayanti's close neighbor. And they interviewed her the night on the news, and she was so distraught, you know, because crime has come home. Knock on your door, is right next door, as the case may be. I want to ask Jayanti, if the police finds the person, assuming that they haven't yet, who committed this heinous crime, right? And the person they believe to have committed this heinous crime, they do the investigation, they gather evidence, and they charge him. He goes before the court. Are you, Jayanti, willing to go and represent him to argue for him to get bail? Or are we just convenient on who we think should and shouldn't get bail? Probably because, you know, plenty all in that party, the UNC, the party of the illiterates, the ocean of deplorables, right? Those who are before the courts now that have more charges to come. The silver bracelets are inevitable for some of them who's sitting in the parliament. It's only a matter of time. Justice may be slow, but it's sure that we're trying to make sure that we put things in place so that when that happens, they don't have to spend too long inside the remand, that we could ensure they could get bail. So anything, any offense in this country for which bail could be denied, let us go to the court and let us come to the parliament and make sure we fix it so that the boy is good. So if it is that they are accused of a crime and charged, they could enjoy themselves outside, right? Because obviously these guys, Anand and Gerald, living their best life now. No problem, they live in life normal. Because every 6 months or however long they come before the court, and they spend, 10 minutes or 15 minutes before the magistrate, as the case may be, and then the case put off to another few months, and they continue to live life as normal. As far as, I don't know if it is they took their passports, or if it is they could still fly, as the case may be, but they enjoying life. And that's what we want. We don't want them to have to, like Mr. Pandey spent a week in the prison, and they had him in the infirmary for the entire time that he was there, right? So what about, you talk about a man losing his life, Jayanti. So what about the person who loses their life permanently? Because if it is all right, the man innocent, as the case may be, and he loses a year or two in jail, as the case may be, and he, right. So you're saying that the life that he's accustomed to, he loses. But for the guilty party, who takes somebody's life, ain't no coming back there. No come back. They lose their life permanently. What about them? Where is the defense for them? Where is the argument for them? Rather than err on the side of caution, you know what, let me just give everybody bail. What impact is that going to have on the state of crime in the country? Because if a person commits a crime, a serious crime, that would normally carry no bail, or at least would have bail denied to them for 120 days. The person, there might be somebody out there who has evidence or information that could help the police to arrest this person. And the person with the evidence may be of the mindset, well, if it is I give this information to the police, at least this is a non-bailable offense, so the person will be behind bars. So I could take some measure of comfort in the fact that I'm safe. But when it is that everything now is bailable, thanks to the likes of Jayanti Lakshmidiyal and her cohorts and others, a man, I could go and give the police information. They go and they lock up the man. And the man come before the court. And his lawyers go now and argue for him to get bail because, hey, normally he would be behind bars for a lengthy period of time. But because now this law is no longer in place, he could get bail the same day that he appears before the court. I'm not going to give no information. What? So he come out in the morning and by the evening, I have a bullet to my head. To hell with that. I'm not telling the police nothing. And so what? This individual is allowed to continue to a life of crime and take more lives, as the case may be. Why? Because, hey, he could get bail. Right? There is nothing to keep him behind bars that could be, at least some sort of encouragement for somebody who have information to go and talk. Notwithstanding the fact that besides that you have the issue of the police service, which unfortunately public trust in the police service is at an all-time low. Because people are afraid to go and give information, and the next thing the officer that you're giving the report to in cahoots with the person that you're reporting on, and by the time you walk out the police station or even before that, a call made. And this is real, right? Let's not play smart with foolishness. We know that this is real. But Jayanti Lakshmi Dayal there, as you heard, one of her main reasons for not supporting the bail amendment bill is because she's so concerned about the state of the prisons and the conditions in the prisons. It's not now the prisons, the conditions in the prisons are what it is. Because from those cases, and she cited about 2 or 3 judgments from judicial officers bemoaning the state of the prisons and so on, and she's talking about a person could go into prison with an undergraduate degree, a bachelor's degree in crime, and those prison conditions could cause them to come out with a PhD in crime and so on, because they're so angry at these nasty conditions that they were subjected to. And listening to this woman, you would swear that these conditions only started in 2015 when the PNM came in. But for those of us who don't belong to the illiterati, we know it's different. We know different, right? Because some of the cases that she cited, they probably went back all the way to the year 2000. But in 2000, they came in, so she cited a case there in 2008, right? They came into office into 2010. What did they do to fix the conditions of the prisons? In fact, in 2011, when TV6 did a story called Prison Confidential or something like that, investigating and looking into the conditions of the prisons in the country, the Attorney General at the time was Anand Ramlogan. And when the question was posed to him with respect to the conditions in prisons and what his government would do to fix it, you all recall what his response was? Jail, air, make to ride fig. Let me repeat that. Jail, air, make to ride fig. What did that mean? Well, the condition inside Wayfield is a Hyatt or the Marriott we sending them to? It's hardened criminals we sending inside. That was his mindset. This is an attorney. It's hardened criminals we sending inside there. People who are accused of serious crimes, right? And not so serious crimes. But in his mind, jail, air, make to ride fig. That was his response to the question being posed to him with respect to prison conditions. The same prison conditions that she bemoaning there as the reason why they can't support the bail amendment bill, because you can't send a man who may be innocent or operating on the presumption of innocence, so send a man in prison to undergo those conditions. In fact, in 2012, after Mr. Man made his jailer make to ride fig comment, the cabinet of which he was a part, and the party that she supports now, commissioned an investigation into the conditions in the prisons. And there is a detailed report. I was trying to pull it up here. It was laid in Parliament, but for some reason I can't find it today. Telling me now that the page may not exist. A detailed report outlining the conditions in the prison. But let me read for you what it was that Anand Ramlogan was responding to, right? This is from Disha Rambajan. Here. So they interviewed a prisoner. Here what the prisoner says. A piece of nugget. This is Sunday lunch. It has no running water in the cells. Remand inmates are forced to defecate in full view of other inmates on pieces of paper or cardboard, which is then placed in discarded juice boxes, plastic bags, and packages. Inmates urinate in plastic bottles. Right? In the face of these conditions being brought to the attention of Mr. Anand, his response was, jail and make to ripe fig. This 2011. Where was Jayanti in 2011? On that rock? She could tell us about, we know she's not suffering from short-term memory, because she could tell us about the boom that was built in Betham in 2009 for the Summit of the Americas when Obama was coming. So she could remember that far back to 2009, but apparently 2011 she forget. She don't recall Anand, in whose chambers I believe she operates. She don't remember he's saying, jail and make to ripe fig, in response to the very same conditions that she's now telling you, because of that, we can't support this amendment. No. All they need to fix the conditions in the prison. What did your party do between 2010 to 2015 to fix those conditions, Jayanti? You weren't concerned then to bring it to their attention to fix it. The $88+ million that they spent for the waste time eater food fence up in Golden Grove, for those of us who live in the east, and those of you who frequent the east would know the prison, the fence that I'm talking about, that runs from the highway all the way up to the prison, and it ends just before where the prison wall is. So between the fence and the prison is a car park. $88+ million was spent to erect that fence that right now only garden Buakano, fever grass, titipei, and all other grasses that you could think about. If you put traverseas inside there, you'd be a very, very happy man with all the different kind of bush it have inside there. That is the only thing that garden. Bush and 2 guard huts. Yeah? $88+ million was spent to build that. And to date, it has served no purpose. I want to ask Jayanti this morning, if that 88 million couldn't have been spent to improve the very same conditions that you're complaining about in the prison today. $88+ million. That couldn't improve the conditions. They could have fixed up some cells, right? Paint over the prison. That 88 million plus could have done plenty, Jayanti, to fix the very same conditions that you have a problem with today, to tell us you can't support the bail amendment bill. You cannot support denying a person bail for 120 days because the conditions in the prison is so terrible. Conditions that you all were, as I told you just now, aware of, at least based on this detailed report that was conducted by the Inspector of Prisons, which I think was Daniel Khan or somebody then, back in 2012. 10 years now. Just like the report from this guy, the SABGA report that they commissioned in 1997 to look into the condition of the homes, the children homes and so on. What did they do with it when they got the report? They spent money. Cabinet commissioned the report, and when you get it, what happened? So I want to ask Jayanti, that report that the cabinet of Kamla Prasad Biseswar that they commissioned in 2012, spent money on, and they get the report, what did they do with it? What actions were taken to improve the conditions in the prison? Because I would assume they were concerned about the conditions in the prison, which is why you commissioned a committee to go and look into that. But you see, mamagism, that is what they do. So just like the SABGA report, cabinet meet and say, we need to do a report, we need to look into these conditions. You get your report, and all of a sudden, nobody know about it. So the report comes back to cabinet, and they discuss it, and everybody put it in the nice leather bag, and they go on home, and they find a shelf and put it up, and to hell was that. Nothing do. Nothing did, right? But you come now, 2012, same stupidness, commission a report, you get the report, telling you the conditions in prison. What happened to it? Did you action it? They tell us you bring a suite of laws to fix the prisons? Such that, but clearly, whatever it is you all did, it didn't do much. Because if you're complaining today in 2022 about the conditions of prisons, same as it was in 2012 when you commissioned the report, and to tell us we can't support because of that, there's something wrong with you, Jayanti. Something is wrong with you. But you see, you could fool the literati, the waterfront ilk, but the rest of us, you ain't fooling. Right? So you're happy. The bill was defeated. Yeah, this. And your leader jumped out herself as usual. The government of Keith Rowley has collapsed because the bill failed. Really? How many bills did you all have? Right? That would have failed in that time. I didn't hear Kamla jump out and say my government has collapsed. Huh? All of a sudden you're so concerned that this government has failed with crime. So concerned about locking up innocent people. Due process without evidence. But in 2011, it was the government that she supports, the party that she supports in government, had a state of emergency and lock up thousands of young black innocent men without evidence. And it was the same Annan who, as Attorney General at the time, said lock them up and we go find the evidence after. So lock them up without evidence. Yeah, just round them up. Get the Maria and the Petty Wagon and all, they just make a run on Duke Street, East Port of Spain, and as you see them lying on the block, snatch them and throw them in the back of the van and take them down. I remember the video with Ian Allen. Oh God, Inspector Singh. Inspector Singh, how you could do with that? How you could do with that, Inspector Singh? Me ain't do nothing. Throw them in, we ain't want to hear nothing. Throw them in the back of the van and carry them down. Till they run out of space in the prisons and the remand that you had to go and spend $330 million to build a makeshift prison up in Santa Rosa to hold them. So many of them. No evidence. No evidence. But back then, the presumption of innocence didn't mean anything. We weren't making a mockery of democracy then when Anand said lock them up and we go get the evidence after. Where was Jayanti then? Where was she? Asleep? Rip Van Winkle? But today, she knows about presumption of innocence. Today, she knows about due process and natural justice. But the millions of dollars that you all cost the state, because all you lock up them little black boy and them who after when they were released without charge and no evidence, come to sue the state. And this administration had to pick up the bill. That administration caused millions of dollars having to be paid out in compensation because in 2011, they didn't know about natural justice. In 2011, they didn't know about due process.
In 2011, you didn't need evidence. She had no problem with men being locked up without evidence. But today, she have an issue with that. And for that, she can't support the bail amendment bill. But in the face of the same prison conditions that she just told you about, that is so atrocious and deplorable, that for that, she cannot give support to the passage of the Bail Amendment Act. 2013, same prison conditions. They brought the amendment bill in 2013 and introduced this very same 120 days in 2013 to lock up people, to put them in the same prisons under the same nasty conditions without charge, without the evidence, right? Based on what she's telling us here. So in 2013, same conditions existed, but they had no problem bringing this legislation and them passing it with 2912. So they needed no support from the opposition. They could have passed anything that they want. That's what they did. Pass the bill. Lock up people 120 days. Deny them bail. But yesterday was yesterday. Today is today. You're listening? Do not. I know you want me to talk about the crime, the state of crime and the high price of food. Don't worry. I'll come in with that on Tuesday for you. Do not. But I see the ads coming up. We go to the ads. We will come back.
I want to pick up all the boss ladies. I love all you. And pick up the boss ladies of Soca for me, please. Pick up the boss ladies of Soca for me, please. All you know, right now, I want to pick up the queen of Soca right now. I want to pick up one of the queens of Soca right now. I want all you to make some noise for one of my favorite songs for this season. All you make some noise for Patrice Roberts for me, please. Pleasant good night to everyone. Put your hands in the air. Put it up, put it up. How you feeling? Tonight, eternally. I want to see your hands in the air if you know this song right now. Say, all of my property, all of my money, it not mean anything if I don't have you. Cause you are my everything, and I can't do anything but put that on everything, for you. Everybody sing if I give you all my love, would you? It's like, cherish it and never let me know. Cause you're not gonna find someone to love you better. If I want it, then you sing. Make I go love you, cha-cha, cha-cha, cha-cha. Make I go love you, tonight, tonight, tonight. Make I go love you, cha-cha, cha-cha, cha-cha. Make I go love you, tonight, tonight, oh, tonight. I love you eternally, 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 eternally. I love you eternally. Hey, oh, I love you eternally, 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 eternally. I love you eternally. Together, I'm in the deepest ocean to show my devotion. You know, see me open like a window, my love. I go all out for you. You know, see me feel you. Baby, nobody that good. You sing now, look, if I give you all my love, and would you treasure? Would you cherish it and never let me know? Let me go. Cause you're not gonna find someone to love you better. If you believe in love, put your hands in the air. Hands in the air. Sing. Cha-cha, cha-cha, cha-cha. Make I go love you tonight, tonight. Everybody waving love. Cha-cha, cha-cha, cha-cha. Make I go love you tonight, tonight. Oh, tonight. I love you eternally, 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 eternally. I love you eternally. Hey. Say, oh, I love you eternally, 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 eternally. I love you eternally. Say, you give me plenty, plenty love. Plenty, plenty love. Oh, my friend, give me plenty, plenty love. Plenty, plenty love. Plenty, plenty, my love. Plenty, plenty love. Plenty, plenty, my love.
Tune
in to the Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the Street 919 FM.
Join Pastor Kelvin Heinerine and friends for The Way, The Truth, The Life Radio Ministry, a Church of God ministry, live on the Street 919 FM from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. This and every Sunday on the Street 919 FM. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except through me. John chapter 14, verse 6. For further information, contact 686-3845-349-5178 or 342-7303.
What is Apex? It is the pinnacle of high-performance vision through a lens. It's clarity, no matter what angle you look at. It's comfort, no matter what you do all day, every day. And it's customized with every digital measurement your eyes require to see at their very best. Apex Digital Lenses by Value Optical, the ultimate lens design for your eyes. Value Optical, expert care for your eyes.
Hi, what's up, TNT? This is Wayne Johnson out of Brooklyn, New York. I always wanted to do something back home, and we're going to be doing our gospel segment on Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM. Listen what I want you to do. Spread the word. Spread the word, TNT. Salvation, full and free. Salvation is for everybody. Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM.
If you're experiencing pain, constipation, headaches, poor blood circulation, high or low blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, swollen or darkened feet, come visit us at Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. We at Health and Wealth Lifestyle offer a wide range of services. Come and experience our new 3D analyzer, which allows you to have a look inside your body. We also provide live blood analysis, iridology, ionic foot detox with foot soak and foot massage, aquatherapy, full body massage, and organic supplements on sale such as Nano Silver, Nano Zinc, Body Light, cold pressed sesame oil, and more. Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at number 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. For more information, call 275-8359 or 288-1108.
Join Nicole Huggins for Health and Wealth Lifestyle every Monday from 9:05 a.m. to 9:55 a.m. right here on the Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying locked to the Street 919 FM. Let me just deal with this here. Okay. Right. So if you're just joining us, you're tuned in to Cooking with Dominic Romaine. And of course, you would have missed. So I was discussing the issue of the Bail Amendment Bill before we went to the break, and the hypocrisy of the UNC spokeswoman, Jayanti Lakshmi. And they want to quote statistics. They say, well, you know, the statistics show that the law is not working, and that the number of persons who have been arrested under this law is abysmal. Last year, or the last time that this issue came up, I think it was last year, the lead person was Rudal Munilal, And he came and he talking about this document, you know, that reading like a binary card because all you're seeing is 011000011. And their focus is on the punitive aspect of the law. So somebody commits a crime, a non-bailable offense. So let's see how many persons were arrested or incarcerated under the law as is. If the police really using the law to bring down crime, right? And what we see in here, 0110 is a binary card. That was his argument the last time that this came up, which I think was last year or whenever it is. So she leading the charge this year, right? So we focus on, as I said, the punitive but not the deterrent aspect of the law. How many people, and I would like to ask Janti to provide the statistics and tell us how many people, right, might have contemplated committing a crime, but when they figure, boy, nah, if I get catch, I go get bail for this, nah, not me, nah. Forget that. As a legislator, you ought to know, as an attorney at law, like to boast, that there are two aspects to the law, the punitive and the deterrent aspect. But let us focus only on the punitive aspect, right? So we'll go statistics, right? So this is how many people have been denied bail under this law, and therefore it's not sufficient for us to continue this. So the law is going to come to an end sometime next month. And we revert to, according to the Attorney General, to the pre-2019 legislation, which is seriously going to handicap the police. Now, do not be surprised if we see some sort of increase in what are perceived to be extrajudicial killings. Because I had opportunity a few years ago to speak to a police officer, and I was saying to him, you know, these claims that people make that police officers, that you all frame people, you know, you plant weed on them and plant guns on them and so on in order to bring a case. And he said, yeah, well, it's true. You know, at the end of the day, if it have a fella in the area who's a pest, and for some reason, you know, complaints continue to be made against him, but we just can't get anything to lock him up for. Well, we will create something, so we will plan something on him and then lock him up and throw away the key, put him inside there, and we get him off of the streets, and there's one less pest that we have to deal with. So in the face of the frustration now with police officers, okay, this man is accused of committing a crime, we go and we lock him up, and today we lock him up, and by Tuesday, he's back out on the streets again. Why? Because he got bail. Normally, this would have been a non-bailable offense, or normally this is an offense that would have seen him locked up for, in one instance, up to 120 days in the first instance, and thereafter could have a further extension. But now he could apply for bail, and because he have some hotshot lawyer like Janti or Anand, who just looking to make a name for themselves or looking to make the government look bad, will come and represent them, and they get off. What the police to do? But we just get his pest off of the street last week, and he back out again. We had to deal with him again. Well, the only one way to deal with the situation, put him down for good. Now, I'm just saying, it's not far-fetched, eh? Not far-fetched at all. Just say, well, all right, he's a pest, he's a menace, he's known to the police, right. And the public will accept that. In some cases, they do. Yeah? And then because, so we're going to be, it is not far-fetched that we're going to see more tires burning and all of these different things. So, but that's the UNC's solution to the situation, right? And they're beating their chest because they succeeded in getting at least, well, support from the independent bench this time, where I understand one senator had given his commitment to supporting the bill and then changed his mind at the last minute. But I saw Anil Roberts, the dog liar, would have done a live on his doubles and coffee, you know, talking about the defeat of the government in the Senate with respect to this particular piece of legislation, thumping the chest. And as I commented, at least this time you all had the guts to walk with your testicles to vote no, rather than what you normally do, your abstention cowardice. Yeah, because all over the place before the vote is taken, oh, we're not supporting this bill and we're not supporting, and when time comes for a little vote, abstain. Yeah, so apparently they found the testicles last week. They're probably digging up all over the place. Hey, you don't long me and see that? What is this? It's my testicles. Wow, my voting testicles. Look at that. Yeah, and they find it. And they came and voted no. 342-008-146-65391. I've already taken up some of your call time, and, you know, I know there's a lot that people want to say, not necessarily on this topic, but if we could keep it on that, that would be great. I saw Jenny was calling just now. Yeah. Let me see here. Morning, Jen.
Hi, morning, Dominic. morning to all the callers and listeners on 91.9. Mr. Chance, Wonderful, Zina, Mano, Bataria, Robinson, everybody. You hear me? Hello? Hello?
Jenny, you hear me?
Yeah, you hear me? I continue to speak now. I hear nothing. But I think I'll just take my chances. I want to ask Jayanti Lakshmi Dayal, where's Anita Haynes? I just asking. Where's Ramona Ramdial? Where's Stacey Ruknarayan? Where's Khadija Amin? Khadija Amin and Anita Hayes used to be the one out there talking and getting on how them silent, so she's the new bad in town now. Just like everybody else, she'll get chew up and spit out. And my problem with them is they're not credible. So anything they say, you have to watch them kind of funny because they're not about, because Kamala Prasad said it is not about country, it's about party. So anything to make she party look good, they will say anything. Because how much election Kamala Prasad lost? How they didn't say she party collapsed, the UNC collapsed? A bill that they didn't stand up to support because them in support of the government collapsed because of that. We will not be sidelined, we will not be distracted, and we will keep telling people the truth, and people will see what it is, because all over the world, when they look on the internet and they see what is happening in places like Sri Lanka, what is happening in America, what is happening in Barbados, even in Barbados, people ain't coming out and talking. Things are happening there because they have been to the IMF on 2 occasions now. The news is there, and we are not of the waterfront. Where you come here for? I don't know. Actually, no, we're not like that. We're going to ask questions and we're going to make an informed decision. And nothing that Kamala Prasad Bissessa and a bunch. And I'm going to use a word here because that word is not a racial word. It means obstinate. Come on. The cultural minority in this society will not hold back the progress of this country. All races will live together as one and to build this country. Indian, Chinese, African, all races. I'm saying it again. The recalcitrant minority in this society will not stop our society from progressing. Dominic, you have a blessed day and reach home safely. Bye.
Thanks, Jen. Hello, good
morning,
afternoon.
Dominic.
Hi.
I had a press conference this morning. I was watching it. They say Dr. Rowley should do like Boris Johnson. Sit down. Because it's a waste of time. We have blood running like water in this country. But they forget who say, if I shall lose, blood will flow. More than once she said, and also had a man with a coffin all over this country, dragging it all over this country. I wonder where they was when all this thing was taking place. But God sits high and he watch now. And he know when the time comes to do what he has to do. God, he's the only boss in the world. Nobody else is boss. Only God. He has all the say. And they have to understand that. Okay? Right.
Thank you, Gemma. Yes, and but I would also remind folks that the UNC's response to rising crime when they were in office 2010 to 2015, lest you forget, the statement made by Kamala Prasad Bissessa, and she was opening some police station. And respect to the judicial killings, right? The perceived extrajudicial killing on the part of the police. Remember what she said? Release the dogs of war. Give no quarter. When all they bounce them up, 1 shot, 1 kill. Forget it, no, had nothing to do with no. It's all right, we'll get them a chance, you know. Release the dogs of war. Who's the dogs of war she was talking about? Give no quarter. You know what that means? Show no mercy. Kill them. That was Kamala Prasad Bissessa's words. To the members of the literati who listening to me now, challenge me on that. Let me go and pull it up and find it for you. Read the article. Release the dogs of war. Give no quarter. Kill them first and ask questions after. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dominic.
Central.
Dominic.
Yes, sir.
You know how you just come across, boy, you just come across as, you know, the UNC do it, so how wrong if the PNM do it?
Is that right?
You just come across, yeah, and just now, yeah.
Okay.
And another thing, I would like to tell Miss Frederick, she does always call with she so-called stance on certain things, I would like to remind her that all the Dalits that we have in Trinidad right now, they rock back and they're watching all the descendants of the kings and queens running roughshod over this country. And you like to call UNC people illiterate by the illiteracy. Imagine the illiterate people could go to court and get the constitution changed where you can make murder a bailable offense.
And you're proud of that, eh?
Offense.
You're proud of that, eh?
Offense that has been time immemorial.
Yeah, and you're proud of that.
Not even matter of proud, but illiterate, and all these, this bill, amendment bill.
Yeah.
Who you think that saving, Dominic? Who you think that saving?
Who it
That
saving?
me? That is saving me, partner.
Okay.
That's saving the majority of the people who look like you, who is incarcerated right now.
Right.
Have a nice day.
All right, you too. Yeah. So the teacher who killed the teacher who killed his wife, chopped the wife and then killed himself. He looked like me and Central. The one who killed the wife and the school teacher from Presal High. He looked like me too. And you should look on Facebook if you're not on Facebook Central and see plenty times when they posting now with all some of the crimes that taking place. Domestic violence, killings and so on. They look like me. And Central, but you're coming now to advocate about the bill amendment bill and talking about I sounding as if the UNC do it so the PNM could do it too. No. What I'm trying to tell all here, the members are the deplorables, the ocean of deplorables. All they have mouth, right? When it is in cases like this, all they want to come and condemn the PNM and the PNM this, but when under them, you had nothing to say. When Anand say, jail and make to right fig, all they had nothing to say about that. When they were locking up people that looked like me in 2011, without evidence, you had nothing to say about that. But Jayanti will come now to talk about due process, yeah? And the presumption of innocence. But all they didn't know that in 2011 when you lock up thousands of people that look like me. Look, Central, anyway, people just call and say, don't allow you to send up my pressure. Not Teddy. Hello, good afternoon. Brian, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
That is illiteracy of the illiterati you're talking about all this time. That is the illiteracy you're talking about. You understand? That is the foolishness that we adhering to. Because he forgets, and we shall remind them that when they got into power in 2010, the 24th of May 2010, there wasn't even government for 2 months when they brought a bill to the parliament, an amendment bill to the bail bill, to bail to jail gang leaders for 120 days. And you know why it passed? Because they had the majority, they had 29 seats. You understand? So they voted very early in their first period because they couldn't handle it. They came to power in 2010 saying that as soon as they get in there, you will see crime go down. What was the first thing they do? Hey, let me jail them gang leaders early o'clock. That is the bill that they brought to the 16th of July, 2010. That is the bill that they brought. You understand? And they jail people. And when that didn't work in 2011, they put 9,000 Africans in jail. And then the General Attorney General said, don't worry yourself, we go find you reason later. And that is how they do it. What about the rights of all of those people? Essential and others? What about the rights of all of those people that Jayanti Lakshmidiyal was talking about? Where was she? Was she still learning law or was she outside there? But I know why she's doing this, because she works in a particular chambers where her leader in trouble with the law. So anything to disrupt society right now, get everybody bail. Get them back outside there. You understand? And let them give you money. Go and look for the money because they have the kind of money that Jayanti and them asking for. So they have to go and make it somehow and get rid of the evidence. You understand? And that is what's happening in the country today. Because every time you get up in the morning and you open your eyes, is this one getting shot and that one getting shot. But the two will get chopped up in penal. I didn't see no candlelight vigil for them, as you alluded to just now. I didn't see no candlelight vigil for them. No. It's only when it works for them. You understand? It is sickening that is what's happening in the country today, because Jayanti put there to make sure that things continue the way they're going, to make sure that certain cases don't come to court and keep them, just those magistrates and judges, busy. You understand? And courts and other matters keep postponing and postponing and postponing, and some go forget what they say, and some ain't go remember, and all kind of stupidness. But that is the hypocrisy of Jayanti, Lakshmi Diyal and them, talking about the rights of the citizens. They have a right, and they have a right, and they have a right. The hypocrisy of them. And that is what we have to work with. And it will the murders will continue just because those people, as soon as they go inside, Jayanti and them, put them out, get them out, because, and that is it. And the hypocrisy of misleading the public, that's saying that, oh, only the courts have the right to determine whether people should get bail or be incarcerated. What stupidity I've been hearing? You make laws in the parliament, and the judge then has the discretion to use the laws that are passed in parliament. And by saying, oh, she will go and she will fight it in the court and she will win, who tells she will win? She can't fool me with that stupidness. She will fool Central and them with that. But once certain laws are passed in the parliament, she may challenge it. Nobody is saying no. But the courts have the discretion to use the laws that are passed in the parliament. See, they say 120 days, they can either use it or they can't. But put the laws on the books so that it will be there for the judges and magistrates to use. Don't try to fool the people, and that is what they are trying to do. We are taking that. It's them at fault. When they passed all the laws, the Prime Minister spoke about it, all the bills that they brought to the Parliament when they were in power. But now that they're out of power, everybody have rights. We will deal with them, have no fear. Do not take them on public of Trinidad and Tobago because they are a bunch of liars. Thank you very much.
Right? I wanna tell Central something before I take this next call. So you said that the only people that the bail amendment bill would protect is people that look like me, right? But yet still, when I look on social media, the only people I see complaining about, oh, they need to pack up their Jahaji bundle and fly out of Trinidad and Tobago is the people that look like you, Central. Because until let's say the people that look like me, they have nothing, and they don't have no business and whatnot and stuff. So who you think these guys want to target? Who they robbing? Not the people that look like me. Because according to you and the party that you support, the people that look like me, we have nothing. Right? So therefore, you should be concerned. Not the people that look like me. The people that look like me, yes, some of them will fall because of this gang warfare and stuff and that kind of thing. But you should be concerned, Central. You should be concerned about that. Because I want to tell you, if, God forbid, the crime come knocking on your door and one of your family members is the victim of one of these guys that you see that look like me, and they get bail, I hope you're going to hush them and you're going to clap. Yes, I hope you're going to hug up Jayanti and hug up Anand for making it that they could be allowed to get bail. Central. Don't complain. And this is the foolishness that you all support. Right? That's the nonsense that you all support. But then want to be more in the state of crime in the country and talk about, oh, is the government ain't doing what the government ain't doing? Look, in today's newspapers, articles, I think, in 2 newspapers with respect to the body cameras that the police are supposed to be wearing. 1,160 body cameras, $1 million+ spent to procure these cameras, and the police ain't using it. But all you want to talk about the government and the government providing the police service with the equipment, and they're not using it. Whose fault is that? Keith Rowley? Keith Rowley is the commissioner of police. He running the police service. And this is the dotishness that you all like to come with. But last year, in her contribution to the budget debate, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar complaining about, oh, the government only buy how much hundreds of cameras, and it's 7,000 strong in the police service, but they only buy 300 or 400 body cameras, and what about the rest of them, and they're failing. So they have 1,160 cameras now, and they're using, but buy 7,000 and all put down there. And the money that is being spent to procure these cameras could be spent on something else in the meantime. But all you know about cameras all over the country and working. And the government don't want to spend the money to fix the cameras. But when these things are put in place, it's not being used to fight crime. And then you want to blame the government for it.
So Dr. Rowley now should pick up the phone and call McDonald Jacob and tell him, hey, make sure Monday morning, 1,160 officers wearing the cameras. And then when he do that, you know what they want to say? The Prime Minister interfering with an independent organization and dictating the pace of the police service. Look, anyway. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, Dominic, good afternoon. Calling from Iwer Village, Princesstown. Right. Well, first of all, I must say that it appears that this is the only country in the world that has murder, right?
Yes.
And remember the yellow dress lady had said, if they don't get back into power, blood will run here like water. And like she know what she did and what she's doing still. That is 2. 3. They spend millions, as you say, to build the wall up in the east up there by the jail, right? And as you had mentioned, that money could have go to fix the facilities in Raymond Yard.
Correct.
But as the great jokey AG who was with her, I could remember he said jail wasn't made for right thing. So that means 1,000 inmates could be in a 10 by 10 jail, right? Under him. That is no problem. Right? No, as far as I see, these people, they don't care, Dominic. They just want to get into power. And as you say, there are a lot of jokers who are following them blindly, like a joker who called a while ago. But I wouldn't call the joker name. I don't have time for that. And there are many jokers like him. I mean, oh gosh, Dominic, let's say you or I do have no offense in the court, right? Good. And our first offense is this. Let's say I steal, well, let's say for months I've been stealing cars and I'm getting away with it, right? And I want to find out, I alone stole about 15 cars, right? And the owners never got them back. And I shoot 2 people, which died, and I chop up 2 people, so that is, I say, 4 people I murdered, and they caught, and they catch me. No, I mean, it's my post. You think I supposed to get bail for that? It's my first offense. You think, Dominic, that I should get a bail for that?
No.
Well, it appears the joker who called and Lakshmi Diyal think I should get bail for that. No, Dominic, let's say a seasoned criminal who always have gun, who always shooting people, stealing cars, burning their house, hurting people. He is supposed to get bail under 100 and something days, but I mean, that is what they are fighting. Dominic, I don't understand anything clearly, Dominic. If I'm a first offender and I did a minor thing like maybe I bust somebody face and with a bottle, well, I believe I might get bail for that. But I mean, seasoned criminals, how you get them bail? And as the guy before me said, there are certain people in high places know that the bracelet hanging over their head. And they're trying all how to disrupt. And they made an error. Pandey only spent one night, you know. It wasn't a weekend, you know that? Pandey had walked in the jail.
Mm-hmm.
He just wanted to be a martyr, right? He only spent a night, and I saw where he was. He was in his bedroom. It was only one night, brother. It was only one night. But as I say, the lady will do anything just to get back into power. And Dominic, all of them, they are liars. They lies a lot. And most Trinbagonians don't remember. Some remember, and the majority don't. And it's so sad. Have a nice day, my friend.
Thank you, sir. let me just read something here quickly, right? This is from Barbados, right? Barbados's crime statistics is nothing close to that of Trinidad and Tobago, all right? How many murders? Barbados have less than 100 murders, that's probably less than 50 murders. Let me just read this quickly. There's an article from Nation News dated February 9th, 2022. Here, it was in 2019 that Attorney General Dale Marshall piloted the amendment to the Bail Act, which stipulated, listen to this essential, that a person charged with murder, treason, or offenses under the Firearms Act shall not be granted bail until a period of 24 months had passed, unless the accused fell into certain exception categories. 24 months essential. But all you have a problem with 120 days and 4 months. But in Barbados, 24 months in your K-Pax. Yeah, but all you love Mia Motley. She's the best thing since sliced bread. She better than Rowley. Everything. Every time she give her speech, play that. Yes, listen to this, and yes. Oh gosh, but I wish she was the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. 24 months in all your K-Pax in Barbados, but here all you're griping for 120 days. Miss me with that BS. Gemma.
Yes, Dominic. Mr. Central, stop the racialism. Leave with Jenny alone. You can't put your foot in Jenny's shoes. You understand? And this Miss Lakshmi, whatever she name, whatever she talking about the state of the prison. They was there for 5 years, 3 months, and 2 weeks. What all they did about the prison? Nothing. Satan can't correct you, you know. You understand? Satan cannot correct you because Satan is the author of sin. You understand? Satan can't correct you. The government ain't do it now, but all was there for 5 years, 3 months, and 2 weeks, and all never do nothing. Okay? So put that in all the pipe and smoke it. Okay.
Thank you, Gemma. $330 million all you spend for that atrocity up in Santa Rosa that was offered to Jack Warner for $17 million, and he say, right? But all you went and paid 200 and something million for it Central. So add 330 million Central to 88 plus million, almost $500 million Central. You all spend on 2 facilities. But today, Jayanti complaining about the conditions in the prison. $500 million could have done a damn lot to fix the same conditions that she complaining about today. Who eat our food in that Central? But that is why I have to bring it up, because all you don't talk them things. When it is PNM, right? But UNC, you have nothing to say about that. And if by some miracle they come back into office in 2025 and they're doing that same stupidness again, you feel you don't call the station and complain? You feel you have anything to say? No. We're talking about, I'm making it seem as if it's the UNC do it, so the PNM could do it too. No, I am making the point, all you need to shut all your damn mouth and don't complain. Right? Because at least something is being done here, this time. The same bill that you all are rejecting today, you all brought it in 2013. It was good law in 2013, but today is not good law. That is the problem that I have. The hypocrisy on the part of the literati. Talk about that. How the hell it could be good in 2013, but in 2022 it ain't good? Just like the legislation that Anand passed when he was the Attorney General, and as soon as he leave office, he come and sue the state millions of dollars to claim the bad law. Who brought the law? Who piloted the law? Who was the Attorney General when the law was passed? So it was good law when he was the Attorney General. As soon as he come out of office, he realized it's bad law. It suddenly dawned on him. He wake up one morning and look in the mirror, shaving his face, hey, a light bulb over your head. Wow. Let me go and sue today. And costing you taxpayers money that could be used to fix the prison conditions that all you're complaining about. But I'll tell you something, Central. Just remember, come 2025, it's people that look like me that you all will depend on to get back into office. Don't forget that. Jenny.
Crime is not an African thing. Crime is a human thing. There's white-collar crime, and there's the other type of crime we see. So I want to just say this. Nicholas Rampersad found guilty of murder, stabbed his mother 15 times. Sadiq Mohammed, Saraj Mohammed, Brandon Basdio, charged with kidnapping, robbery, rape, burglary on January 6, 2022. 2020, Daily Express. Richie Sipasad, 19, was described as a pest by police who terrorized residents in Penal and Siparia district by breaking into their homes and robbing them. Murder in Princestown, Dave Maharaj, 32. December 2019 news. They 3 in court for trying to throw a woman over Mosquito Creek. Avinash Maharaj, 23. Abika Maharaj, 22. Emmanuel. Going again. Marlon Brandon, a.k.a. Boise, charged with possession of firearm and ammunition. That's Village. Then we had these killers from before. Boise Singh, We had Bolan Ramkisoon, Dr. Dalit Singh, Dole Shady, November the 8th, 2019, Daily Express, Nimal Sullivan, Pig Farmer, 23, charged with murder. Chanandal Gobe in charge with murder of your wife. Vishal Beshu charged with murder. And when you go into the jails and you look, there are a lot of persons of Indian descent in the jails. So when you want to come and talk about is African people committing crimes, that might be true. But Indian people are also committing crime in this country. But it will be played up. It will be highlighted. It is always skewed and put as if it's only African people trying committing crime in this country. But Indians trying doing the same thing. And we know, when it comes to car thieving, let me be real. What we used to say thief in the car, when you talk about bamboo and down in them places, let us be real, because I say again, crime is not an African thing, it's a human thing. So we talk on both sides, or we more don't talk on one side. And yes, I come from king and queen, and I am a queen. We'll always be that, and you mention it. Your ancestors were Dalits, you'll have to deal with that, not me. The inhumane system in India, why only run to Trinidad, the ancestors, and I'm glad they came. Because they gave you opportunity to call on the radio and call, and yes, it's Miss Cedric Bahanda to my damn name. Right? All they run from India and come here, I'm happy all they came because of Dr. Eric Williams. All they get free education to take the Indian children out of the farm, out of the garden, from getting married to big man when they're 12 and 11 years old and 13 years old, and make sure they get a free education, or they couldn't get that in India. You bring it up, not me. Yes, Dalits, I say it again. Own your history. I'm glad you own it and love it, and we will own ours. Enslavement came and created a situation, but don't write we out, because we had a history before enslavement, and we were kings and queens, and we still kings and queens. And if some of us have lost our way, that is not all of us. And again, I say crime is not an African thing. All races that commit crime all over the world. Look in Canada, they're talking about, I think it's Canada, after Diwali, they had to go and clean up the whole place because they said they leave it so nasty and dirty in Canada. Look at them things. All they run to Canada and say it's African men with Rasta men who raping all the women. Make we know what to get visa to go to Canada. When they do the investigation, was Indian putting on African wig, Rasta wig on the head, and raping their own women. So don't come to tell me no talking about I say we're king and queen. Yes, we are kings and queens. And you admitted it? Yes, all is valid. Now, I didn't say so, they say so. So when you're talking, talk fair. I don't have a problem with nobody talking fair. Don't talk on one side. Because crime is not an African thing. Dominic, thank you for the opportunity. Bye.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
And for the members of the literati listening who love to jump up and jump out all yourself on social media to talk about, oh, this station always about race and race. Just remember who introduced race into this morning's conversation. It wasn't me and it wasn't Jenny. Well, I want to tell Central, the majority of politicians who before the court today in Trinidad and Tobago for raping the treasury and committing those type of crimes, the only former Prime Minister, the only former Attorney General and Senator before the courts today for committing corruption and that sort of crimes, the majority of them don't look like me, Central. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Dominic, I'm so happy that you point out Ms. Nutt, Vivian. You know, Dominic, when I hear Central Eleven, you know, long time days when you eat something that is probing your stomach, or you start to get on, just vomit out everything. And I'm glad that you're making sure that you let the listeners know he brought up waste. Dominic, I want to ask a question this morning. Is it the same independent senators who were accused for singing for the stopper when they voted with the government? Dominic?
Correct.
I want to know. I think I'm making a mistake, you know. How about Central that? You know, these people are really shameless and truth, boy. When I hear the opposition leader saying, but the government collapsed, you know, I really get a laugh. And you brought some good facts, not topics, wayward, racial facts, you know, but facts for everybody to remember. How much people were thrown in the prisons, and then they say we would look for the evidence. Where was Rosemary Allen? She now know people rights. So people had no rights under the PP government, and it was all right. To have a prime minister who used to appear in all kind of different armament to meet the public, tumbling and sputtering, and have the gall and contention today to say that this government collapsed. Well, I want to remind Central, we had and never had anybody who represented their clients for over 2 years and didn't know and join taxpayers' money. We had nobody where an attorney had to plead guilty and accept that there was corruption in receiving state money. We never had that center. And I could go on and on and on. And I want to leave them with this. The fact is that this government has shown the severity to recognize the public servants. Not one day they didn't get paid. Central, let me tell you something. I listen every day. I don't call every day because of audio who comes in to obstruct. And Dominic, I want to get something clear here as I finish. A caller called in on Aisha program the other evening, and as untruthful and on ability to bring facts, said that no attorney for the PNM that represents anybody, including the late black boys, pro bono. You hear me? Dominic?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah.
And that caller, I wasn't surprised that he said that, but I was surprised that a lot of people, except one, was able to remember where Fitzgerald Hines had to represent somebody who, under the PP government, pick up and say the man and carry them up sometimes. So remember that, Dominic?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to tell that caller, when you want to learn, I have a little school that is quality schools are fact. Here are few attorneys to the PNM who represent people pro bono. Kenny Lou Beckles, the late Sobian, Camille Robinson Regis, Fitzgerald Hines. That's just a few. So if you're calling them none, well then, fella, you must stop playing music and come to my school. And whenever you're coming on the radio and you're not sure what you're saying, say you stand to be corrected. Please, because you're singing daughters. You don't know the facts and you run there because you don't like to hear them. And I heard you many times saying people could get $1 million. What part of the world you ever hear people that became people $1 million? Everybody in a country. And this is the kind of total suggestion all you just want to come and make and say that all you here and just. All you just don't like to hear them and all you must come with all the facts because there are people waiting in this trip. Like myself, and I don't make Skylar from the facts, you know, my strength is my facts. Challenge me on that. I like Dominic. Challenge me on the facts. So Dominic, tell Miss Lodge Diaz that we're not from La La Land. We're not from Totus Land. And if she now coming, she had to prepare for facts. Right. Don't come with things with, we always have whistles. And thanks again, Jenny. I know you won't afraid them. Dominic, if you know what afraid you, I sure I know the afraid you. Because whenever you come, and then we have Pastor Google, who has come up in the morning period, facts again. You know what I do? Do like Central coming to distract you. You don't want to say from Wall Street or somewhere. I don't know what kind of Wall Street professor he is. But like he don't even have the facts neither. You understand? So Dominic, thanks again for allowing me this contribution. And I will repeat it. My strength is my fact. Challenge me on that. And all you got to have coming. Thanks again, Jenny. Good contribution. Central. Don't try to distract this program. Yeah. Yeah, ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Porespin. But I have a question though. Has the leader of the opposition made any statements or any pronouncements with respect to the killing of those 3 young men? What was her position on that? Rudal Munilal say anything about that? I'm seeing on her Facebook page here because I just checking through to see if she put out a statement. I ain't seen none. But she talking about, I'm seeing an article here in the Newsday 4 days ago. Kamala berates Rowley for toting feelings against journalists. She's concerned about the Prime Minister's mental health. Be concerned about your own mental health, madam. You're the one who say, put party before country. Right? As a person who's aspiring to be the next Prime Minister of this country, but talking, if you can't put party before country, go to hell. Huh? But you concerned about the Prime Minister's health? You went back to something that your claim Foster Cummins did in 2007, 15 years ago. But Dr. Rowley tooting feelings against a journalist, and you come on a public platform and tell Foster Cummins, either you come out and confess or I will expose you because I have the documents to expose you. So you trying to threaten people and blackmail and so on and whatnot, but you concerned about the Prime Minister's mental health, madam? You for real? You serious? But again, as I said earlier, you were the one who was Prime Minister, say release the dogs of war, give no quarter. Release the dogs of war, give no quarter, and you were making that statement at the opening of a police station. So who you were talking to? Is the police? The police were your dogs of war, and you tell them give no quarter, 1 shot, 1 kill. Don't ask no question, kill them, and you go deal with that after. So was that a case of release the dogs of war, show no, give no quarter that took place that day? I make no pronouncements because I don't know. It's still under investigation. But I just asking a question. Gemma.
Yes, I forget Dominic to congratulate Karim Marcel from the BTAM. He's a full-fledged lawyer. The bar accept him. That's Shoma Wilson's son. I forget to tell him congratulations. They say that the BTAM can't bring out nothing good, but I want to tell them Karim Marcel, that's Shoma Wilson's son, from the BTAM, and accept him in the bar as a full-fledged lawyer. I want to let it take that. Okay? And I forget to tell Mr. Central, the Pulu brothers, let me remember what they do. And also Mr. Naya, what he did too. Remember all of that before you talk nonsense. Okay.
Thank you, Gemma. Boise Singh. He looked like me and Central. Dolce and the Gang of 9. They look like me and Central. All right. One of the most notorious crimes ever to take place in this country. Yeah. They look like me and? All your memory short. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir, good afternoon.
Dominic, what's up? Long time I ain't get you, bro. Morning. So, all your listeners, just as a side note, there's a study done that once you perpetuate racism and you have hate in your heart for other races of human beings, your private parts seem to be smaller. Let's move on. There was a study done. Let them go and search it for themselves. So continue with the racism, boy, and you will have problems to reproduce. Anyway, Dominic, the two segments, right? I can't add anything to what you're saying. I can't add anything to what Mr. Jenny said. I can't add anything to what Mr. Porter say. We just be lost for words. And we just be lost for words that there isn't a fight against these people in terms of mainstream media and coming up against. And I think the next move that we have to make is to protest these senseless haters out of this, or protest them and to force them to do what needs to be done. Clearly, the opposition is according to my partner, who does say Trinidad and Tobago, he does say this is a criminal organization in Trinidad and Tobago. That is not an understatement. That is how they does do it in Mexico and things. That is what they does do. That is what they want the country to come to. And I'm telling the UNC people, if all they feel all they're going to escape, when all they support this nonsense, God forbid they get in power. See, then take your well-studied child who you spend money to educate themselves and put them in a back room to sign off on contracts, which the backdate contracts. See, then do that. And they cannot say no because you know who behind them. And we lived that already. We mustn't live it again. I think it's time to protest this senseless, disgusting waste of time of opposition. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good
Dominic.
afternoon. Hi, caller. Morning. Afternoon, sorry.
I'm a first-time caller,
Welcome.
but I've been listening to you since from way back with the other guy, with Jack Warner.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just calling this morning to just beg your positivity.
Thank you.
And the gentleman who was calling to shut you out. Tell him, drink water and mind his business.
Yes.
Because I'm tired hearing him, but as I say, first time calling, always listening.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Good afternoon, sir.
And I thank you for that apology, and thank you for explaining to me that you were going. I didn't realize that the radio station was running automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I get to know that now. So thank you, right?
Yes.
So I understand what happened now when I get on and tune on my radio.
Right.
I want to understand. We call here, we look forward for this radio station, you know, brother.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, let's move on from that. Central, you see, the conversation, the Dominic, first thing, this lady misconstrued this thing and make people feel that if I get hold first time for a gun, I ain't getting no bail.
Yes.
That is not how it goes.
Right.
This is for what is considered repeat offenders.
Correct.
And they're giving people the impression that if I get hold for a gun in a car just so first time and I go before a magistrate, I'm not entitled to no bail.
Mm-hmm.
Or the police come by me and the security guard happen to leave the gun and find the gun by me and I ain't go get no bail. That is not how it works. Technically, they are bracing people who are intended to go to jail soon.
That's right.
Right, but I have to deal with Central now. You see, because I hear you call some names. Somebody called the two brothers. Here was a host on a Indian radio station saying it. This is a host, famous host on a morning, saying here how they describe Afro-Trinidadians as bandits and Indo-Trinidadians as thieves.
Okay.
Right? That is from their point of view, right?
Yes.
So Central was right. But here what's going on. They want me to emulate them, right?
Yes.
To do the right thing, to become proper businessman.
Mm-hmm.
I have a man, when they hold him, a man went and represent a man for years in court. And when he became Attorney General, they had never put a gang of 9.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A one-turn state witness. Right? After that, I realized that there was a group of kidnappings that to take place. You remember that?
Yes.
Who was paying the African brothers to kidnap who, boy?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a group of first businessman son they kidnap was big. I have a man, the man dead now and live. I have, in my community, I have a man who was considered the Apple King. I have people in my community still want to be like Naya, you know, damn Central. People like me want to be like he now. I have a next one, named Teddy Mize, that was he name?
Mm-hmm.
We keep forgetting, they keep doing like if black people is where this crime stem from. I tell them cocaine came in. I never know a cocaine man in my community. I know about a man selling weed. And up comes Naya. And I see everybody who was productive citizens in my community become pipers. That is what your community did to my community, you know, Central. You know that? So before you come to talk about crime, I tell them burglar proof come into my community because of people in your community want to get rich. Up to this day, I down south under Gary Griffith, and he tell them police down central to go and take lie detector test. And what they tell them? They tell Gary Griffith no, and most of the Venezuelans was coming in on that side. Or they don't want to stop crime because why? I have 4 people for 20 years fighting an extradition treaty, and all they come and give me section 34. All you want me to trust all you, why? All you describe all yourself as thief, you know. And I am a bandit. And a bandit can't trust a thief. Right, Central? Because you go come to take what I have and I got to come back and rob you now. So then go cause me to have to execute you. So then we go near one race here, eh? Well, you wake up now, man, and let's check all yourself and realize this race war. Because on any other station, you know people that be calling for you not to call back. We don't want to hear you can't call back because you consider racist. I would have do me like if I was to call and make that statement on East Indian radio station, what happened when me done make? They banned me.
Yes.
But we ain't calling for that here for man. So I calling for it. Central is not to call here, depend on the host. We're not accepting that racism in Trinidad and Tobago. After what your opposition leader said to us, and you come to tell me that, so how you see me? So when all they get to the office, that's why all they say lock them up and find the evidence after. I could understand that. Enjoy your day, man.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Well, folks, we're out of time, not out of things to say. I see the ads countdown is upon us. Yeah, we really need more time for this Sunday show, so that you could have your say and I could have had more of mine. But I will continue on Tuesday morning, God's willing. I need to address some stuff that I saw my friend from New Jersey post up with respect to the Prime Minister. At no time in his speech did I hear the Prime Minister call anybody from BTAM demons, but, I will address that on Tuesday morning. So I know he's listening. So tune in on Tuesday morning, sir, because I figure you might want to call in after I make my pronouncement on these posts that you're putting up. All right? So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, folks. Enjoy your nice Sunday meal on what is a rainy Sunday. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of let up. But if not, enjoy the rain as well. So join Sharon and Bruce in the morning, Titans of Democracy. And I will be back with you again, God's willing, on Tuesday morning, where we will continue the discussion. Maybe not necessarily on this, or as well, I might play a little more Gianti and rain a little more fire on her, as she justly deserves. She and the rest of the literati. So I'm out.